CPR with Cassian today. I'm big for this session, and I just want to kind of be in the moment and work with him, especially if it's the first time doing this. So I'll potentially just kind of voice over or add some other thing where I'm explaining what conditioned relaxation is, what posture facilitated relaxation is, but for now I'm just going to kind of just crack into it. I think he's going to be actually very good at this. His mom is a vet, so I just want to like crack right into it. So let me get floor level with him. So he's already in a more relaxed position of down versus like a sphinx style down. So ideally with conditioned relaxation, I kind of want the dog's spine facing me. It's not imperative, but I do prefer that. So what I'm looking to do from this position is to actually roll him all the way onto his side. So I'm going to tuck in this shoulder and push a counterweight, and now he looks like he's inclined to roll the other way. If he kind of gets up, and we're just going to restart. I'm using his tactile cue for down, so that's important. So right here, I'm just going to see if I can get him back in, and I know I said I wasn't going to narrate, but here we go. So I'm looking to just get him to roll onto his side. He's in that sphinx style down, so putting pressure onto his hip there, starting over. Good. So I'm going to get him to tilt his hip. Good. And when we apply this pressure, I kind of want to like apply it until I feel the dog starting to yield, and then I kind of release it. And what's happening right now when I do that, as soon as I release it, he kind of gets up or gives up, and he doesn't go all the way. So we're just kind of, so right here I'm going to put some pressure on this elbow that's closest to me and kind of like push towards him, and then this arm is going to push towards me. So I'm just applying enough pressure to where he feels it, and as soon as he starts to yield, I'm releasing the pressure, and that's something you might not be able to see on the camera necessarily. So this elbow is getting pushed towards the camera, and then we just reset when he stands up. Perfect, now he's kind of towards me, so when we're here, I need that hip rolled first. Good. Good. And so I'm going to put a little bit of pressure on this elbow, get him to roll into this elbow. So I'm going to put my elbow here to kind of keep his hip down. I'm going to push into the elbow closest to me and push this shoulder that's furthest from me towards me. Good, so if he gets up, I'm just going to restart. So the key to this, and this just takes practice. If you're doing this on your own dog, it's easier. If you're like a vet tech or you work with multiple dogs, it's a numbers game, and you kind of learn how much pressure you can put onto the dog, and it's not, we really want to use the least amount of pressure possible. So I'm putting that. He knows this cue for down, perfect. He's got that hip kicked over. I'm gonna just see if we can flip over the shoulder. Good, good boy. So we did it for just a second, and my goal is to get him all the way onto his side. And we're gonna reset. So this could be like a little bit stressful, even for the most like happy, social, easy dogs. Because obviously he's like, what is this? What are we doing? Like, I don't understand the point of this. You might even associate this with like a nail trim, because I notice he's kind of like, he's got some sad baby body language. Perfect, so I'm just applying that pressure. This is a tactile cue, so it's just enough pressure to indicate to him that he needs to do something, but it doesn't actually physically force him to the ground. So, good. This is an exercise good in so many things that are important. So one thing, I'm gonna like kind of pause here and just level him up for a sec. Good. Okay, so I'm gonna give him a little break with that. One of the things that this works on is teaching your dog to yield to pressure, and so this is especially important for having your dog handled by the vet or groomer, obviously. We're using something called posture facilitated relaxation, which is essentially just goes along the line of thinking that if your dog is in a physical position of calm, the brain will follow. And it's one way that we can capture settling or calm. So once we get really proficient at this, getting our dog into this position, this posture, and the dog kind of gets into it more quickly and yields to that pressure and that gentle restraint, and it happens more quickly, we can actually, the dog, you'll see that settling be happening. So it's kind of the idea of like, you know, if you lay in a recliner, at some point you're going to start to relax, right? So if you start, you know, if you sit down in a chair and then you kick out the recliner and then you arch it back a little bit, and the more positional you get in relaxation, the more you're likely to like, oh, I'm gonna like stretch, I'm gonna yawn, I'm gonna blink my eyes slowly, my breathing rate is going to lower, my heart rate is going to lower. And those are actually things that we can mark and reward in our dog as they happen, and it can actually become more cognizant to do for your dog. So your dog can actually become more aware of what's settling the thing, Lucy, what that is. So we're gonna restart. He's already in this nice little down, his hip is kicked, so I'm gonna start working on tilting that shoulder. So again, when we're talking about yielding to pressure, I'm also kind of teaching him, this is where like it becomes like almost sometimes stressful at first for a lot of dogs, because I'm not rewarding him with food, and it's a little bit of a have to. So this is where in training I lean more. This is like where I actually want to use technically some compulsion, because there are stressors, there are things in our dog's life that they have to cope with and get through in order to have a healthy life with us. So in order to live comfortably, our dogs need to be vetted and groomed and restrained. And so these are all things that we need to have our dog comfortable doing. It also, the more you practice it, the easier it gets for your dog, obviously. And the more they can handle more stressful situations, it also gives you, as the owner of your dog, the handler, the ability to help your dog out when there are stressful, whether that's stressful, like worrisome, fearful, kind of overreacting, or if it's stressful because of, holy crap, this is really exciting. And either end of that spectrum, we want to be effective at gathering our dog back to us and saying like, whoa, 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 that's like a lot, and we need you to be down here. And the more your dog can practice it, the more they can actually do it. So it's not necessarily an easy skill for dogs to know how to have an appropriate energy for a given moment, and we want to be more effective in those moments when they are struggling, and have an effective way to say, like, to calm their mind and calm their body. So we're gonna kind of, so I'm pushing this towards me. Good boy. Now that he's here, I'm just gonna love him up for a second, and if you can see what I can see, he's achieved the posture, but he's not relaxed, right? So he's kind of like, his legs are stiff as can be, his tail's tucked, and so this is not like a confident, like very relaxed thing, right? So we're gonna work our way up there. Okay, nice job. When I release him, I kind of want to do it gently. I don't want to be like, all right, and start clapping and doing cartwheels, right? We want to kind of maintain that calm. Eventually, when he gets better at this, and actually the next session that we're going to do is introducing the RC car that we just bought, which is going to probably pump up the energy. But the next stage to this, once our dogs can get into that posture, and I don't know if I mentioned this, but our goal is to have the dog completely on their side, all four legs touching, tail touching, head touching the floor. And we want to be able to massage the large muscle groups and actually release the tension in the body as much as possible. So once they're in that position, we're feeling the dog's body and looking for any tension and trying to relieve that tension before we release them. And so working up to 5 minutes in that position before they're released out of it. We want to make sure we are releasing our dogs from this, so that they have a very clear signal to be done. We don't want to accidentally, so if the dog's just like getting up and getting up and getting up and having a really hard time with this, and I can't get them all the way over, I may need to make the criteria much easier. So right now for Cassian, he's already made some progress. We ultimately got him into that. Good. And it gets easier each time we ask for it. then to smooth them out. And this is where I would start to apply this massage. So I feel tension in his his leg here, and his thigh, and in his shoulder. So I can work from the top, doing nice undulating movements. We don't want quick, frenetic petting. We want deep, purposeful touch. So right here, this muscle's nice and tight, so I'm going to kind of smooth it out. Good. And going back to what we were just talking about, I want a clear message to my dog. Good. As he relaxed, he just relaxed his neck back to the ground. I want to mark that. Good. I'm just going to see if I can get his back leg to relax just a bit. But I'm going to use his release word when we're done with this. I don't want him to decide he's done and stand up and then end the session. That's an especially important thing for this exercise, so I might just kind of help his leg relax here. Good. Nice stretch. Good. Very good. Okay. Nice. That's beautiful. And so we would want to, he's doing that beautifully, and we would want to just work up to being able to do that for a slightly longer period of time. And then the next thing we would want to work on is doing it after we want to explore the spectrum of energy, essentially. So we would want to play a very vigorous game with him, get him as excited as we think we can get him, and then end that game or whatever it is, that activity we were doing, and then start this conditioned relaxation session and gather him up. I do want to practice this on leash at first. If your dog especially is like having a hard time and getting up and trying to walk away, prevent that from happening with the leash. Prevent them from ending the session by being resistant. So if you're really struggling with this, you're having a hard time getting your dog into this position, make sure that you make small successes rewarding. So, and also make sure that your dog knows that pressure down. We have separate videos for that, obviously. But making sure that your dog can go into that down position and nose down well enough first. And if you want to start with just getting them to kick their hip over, and then working on getting that shoulder over, and working your way up. So sometimes just releasing them for small successes helps you get bigger success. Asking a little bit will get you more, ultimately. So the next step for him, like I said, doing it for a longer period of time. Also introducing this spectrum of going from a more heightened state of arousal to this calm state that he's in, and then releasing him, giving him a minute. I don't like to jump right into going back into something really exciting right after conditioned relaxation. I like to have like a little bit of a buffer period, even if it's only like 2 to 3 minutes. But starting that new game, and then practice fluctuating up and down that energy spectrum, and then practicing in places that are more challenging. So changing the environment, doing it in public places, which is sometimes a little weird if you're getting on the ground. And then ultimately, we can start to, the other part I forgot to mention is, as we're doing this, we're going to start naming the moment your dog relaxes. So for instance, in that last rep, as he relaxed his neck and that back leg, we would say good, easy, or calm, or woosah, or whatever you want to call this exercise. So we're starting to add in a cue word to the act of settling. So that eventually starts to translate, and we don't necessarily get on the floor with our dog and massage them in the middle of Home Depot, but we can start to have them in, we can essentially put them in place without a place bed and say easy, and maybe do a little bit of a scruff massage while they're standing next to us, while we're waiting in line, or while the world's going on around us, and the dog should actually start to go, oh, okay, and that will be more effective. So you can do less later on once you've done this work to have a bigger effect on your dog. Right now, if you were to just tell him, hey, relax in any given moment, he's gonna be like, I don't know what that means, whatever. But you'll start to have him be more effective with less work and involvement. But he's doing great with that, so good job, Cassian.